Welcome, I'm Dr. Diane Leslie Webster, and today's short story is called HBA Positive. It's a work of fiction based at Wodonga Base Hospital in September 1979. My pager rang. I rang the switchboard immediately. "Dr. Webster here," I said. "Dr. Webster, I'll put you through to casualty." "Sister James, Dr. Webster. I'm nurse in charge tonight. We've got a 54-year-old man with severe chest pain. Blood pressure is low and pulse is 45. Looks like an AMI. AMI, I said. Yeah, acute myocardial infarction. Heart attack, a big one. I'll be right there, I said. Within a couple of minutes, I was in casualty, or CAS as we called it. Mr. Swinton didn't look good. White as a sheet, in fact. "Where's his ECG?" I asked. "What would you like us to give him?" the nurse replied. "Who's the consultant on call?" I asked. "Dr. Granger. He's on acreage about 20 kilometres away." I'm thinking, oh shit. Here I am, the only doctor in this hospital tonight. It's my first night on call, at the start of my 3-month country rotation to a regional hospital in Victoria. It's 4 hours drive from my base metropolitan hospital, which is Western General Hospital in Footscray. I'm 23 years old, just graduated from Monash University 9 months ago. Sure, I'd been present in the team attending other heart attacks at Footscray Hospital, but I was never running the team, or in this case, being the whole team. "Get Dr. Granger on the phone, please," I said. "Dr. Granger, it's Dr. Diane Webster here. I'm the new intern on call tonight at Albury Wodonga. We've got a 54-year-old man with a large myocardial infarct. He's got low blood pressure and a slow pulse. I think he's in heart block." "Give him some atropine and call me back once you get him into coronary care," Dr. Granger barked. Aren't you coming in?" I said plaintively. "He's public, isn't he?" barked Granger. "Yes, he's a public patient, no health insurance," I said. Granger hung up. The nurse called me over. "He's arrested." We started CPR, alternating pumping his chest and giving him oxygen through the mask and bag from the crash trolley. I gave him IV atropine. We got out the paddles and zapped him. "Stand clear," I said. No response. Further CPR and bagging, further electric shocks. "Stand clear," I said again. The reading on the ECG was flat now. No response. We eventually stopped resuscitation. He was gone. I completed the paperwork and rang his relatives. This part of my job was even worse than the unsuccessful resuscitation, telling the relatives that their loved one had died. I was still in casualty. It was 1 a.m. I'd been there since 11 p.m, but the time had flown. I still had to attend to other calls from the wards that had come in during the arrest. The doors of casualty suddenly burst open and the ambos were bringing in another man on a trolley. "It's an AMI," said the officer. The nurses took the observations and ran an ECG on Mr. Towler, 57 years old. Right, I thought. I will handle this one better than the last. Pulse was slow and blood pressure low, just like the other one. "Give him some atropine," I said with authority. I put in a line and the nurse gave the atropine and his pulse increased. I called Dr. Granger. "It's Diane Webster here. We've got another patient with an AMI and I've given him atropine." "Good," said Granger. "Give him some digoxin as well." "Are you coming in?" I asked. "No, send him up to coronary care and I'll see them both in the morning." The other patient arrested and died, unfortunately," I said. "Oh, that's bad luck. Well, I'll see one of them tomorrow then. He's public, I suppose?" "Yes," I said. "No insurance." "Well," Granger said, "they're all yours, the public patients. They're the ones you're paid to look after." I introduced myself to Mr. Towler. I'm Dr. Webster. I'll be looking after you tonight. We'll get you up to coronary care now. The next time I saw Mr. Towler was up in the coronary care unit of the hospital. Hello, Mr. Towler. It's Dr. Webster here. How are you feeling? Didn't I just see you down in casualty when I came in? He said. Yes, I said. I'm also in charge of coronary care tonight, as well as in charge of the casualty department. Oh, he said, looking at me directly. How long have you been a doctor? I gave him my stock answer, which I had been asked at least 20 times by this stage of my intern year. I've been studying medicine for 6 years, and I've been a first-year doctor for 9 months, I said, trying to sound important. I was catching up on my other calls in the medical ward of the hospital when my pager rang, and it showed an emergency in coronary care. I arrived not 2 minutes later. The crash trolley was already at Mr. Towler's bed. The ECG showed VF, ventricular fibrillation, an extremely rapid seesaw pattern not compatible with life. The nurses and I started CPR, then quickly to the paddles and electric shock, all to no avail. Soon the dreaded asystole, a single flat, straight line on the ECG. He was not able to be resuscitated. Another death for the evening. An hour later, I was called to casualty again. I couldn't believe it. It was the third AMI. Mr. Talisman, 52 years old. All in one night. It was 3 a.m. now. I rang Dr. Granger. I've given him atropine and digoxin and he's going up to coronary care, I said. He's got private health insurance, HBA. Okay, I'll be there soon, answered Dr. Granger. I couldn't believe it. Dr. Granger was coming in at 3 a.m. from 20 kilometres away to see this fellow because he had private health insurance. Granger arrived in 20 minutes and went straight up to the CCU to look after the patient for the rest of the night. Next morning, up in CCU, I'm handing over from the night shift to the coronary care registrar, Charles Wright. He was a more senior doctor than me, probably 2 years out from graduation. And he's in charge of the CCU during the day. I had a bad night last night. 3 AMIs and only one made it, I reported. That's Mr. Talisman in bed too. HBA positive or negative? Asked the registrar. HBA positive, I said. Figures, Charles said. I bet Granger came in. Yes, I replied. That's the end of the story. Thanks for listening. And if you like this story, click on the like icon and follow me on YouTube and also at TikTok at Dr. Diane Leslie Webster. See you soon, and you can buy my 2 books, The Good Guide to Life or Simple Steps to Happiness. They're available on Amazon. Bye for now.